The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. How's this for a tour? Pete Davidson, John Mulaney, and Jon Stewart? Yeah, only 3 cities so far anyway. John, and Pete is the name of the tour. They'll play Springfield on Friday, September 8th, Bethlehem, September 9th, and on September 10th, which is definitely not Langston Kerman's birthday, they'll be in Atlantic City. John, and Pete Davidson, John Mulaney, Jon Stewart. That's fun. I had mentioned recently that Andy Kindler was not invited to do the State of the Industry address up at Just for Laughs Montreal. 2 comments on that. One, I've been looking to see what Jessica Kirson did. I've seen 0 media coverage of that, which is just interesting. Kindler's usually got pickup, at least in the comedy blogs. Nobody has mentioned Kirson State of the Industry. Google it. If you find something, send it to me. I can't find a thing. But I had also said, Kindler hadn't been playing nice in the sandbox, and I wondered if that was why. Pure speculation on my part. But the other day, Kindler was in a Twitter fight. There was a picture of Chris D'Elia and Andrew Dice Clay side by side, and Kindler tweeted, "Excellent side-by-side marketing, hard to decide who is more repugnant. Some people defended Dice." Kindler responded, "You couldn't be more wrong. Dice is a well-known a-hole, an unpleasant, insecure bully. He found a character and ran with it. The character was a misogynist, racist hack. He's a raging homophobic hate merchant." And then he wrote, "You forced me to say this. Hitler also found a character and ran with it. Eva Braun said he was a decent dude." I'll leave that there. I think I've met Andy Kindler. I don't recall meeting Dice Clay. I've definitely not met Chris D'Elia. Some Dave Chappelle news after a Dave-related gossip corner. The Daily Mail tells us Tiffany Haddish looks effortlessly stylish in gray with gold heels as she arrives at Dave Chappelle's comedy show. Also on Gossip Corner, Kendall Jenner dons a racy mesh top as she enjoys a date night with boyfriend Bad Bunny at a comedy show in West Hollywood. They were also at Dave Chappelle's comedy show. Speaking of Dave, the San Francisco Chronicle says Dave broke curfew at NAPA again. Remember he did that last year? Well, it happened again. The Chronicle writes, even though Chappelle appeared to be on his best behavior during the second installation of the Blue Note Jazz Festival in Napa, by the third night, the provocative comedian was up to his old tricks. On Sunday, as the strict 10 p.m. curfew for outdoor events loomed, Chappelle strolled on stage and teased the idea of an encore for Chance the Rapper's set. Chance considered it, but he passed the mic to fellow yapper Yassine Bey, also known as Mos Def. Bey took the stage and performed to the approximately 7,000. As the song concluded, Chappelle reappeared on the fog-filled stage for his customary end-of-the-night monologue. He was clutching a red Solo cup. Chappelle said, "My God, how do you close a show this great? My God, what did we all see here today?" Shout out to Blue Note. Thank you for getting me with some of my closest friends and greatest artists of all time. He then thanked the festival's co-host. He then led yet another sing-along, this time to Bobby Caldwell's 1978 soul hit, "What You Won't Do for Love." And he joked, "Sing it with me if you know it. If not, keep your mouth shut, keep your white lips shut." He then rechristened Napa Valley, quoting the Chronicle, "This is N-Word Valley now. We taking over, we moving in. Come on, y'all, let's move in. Welcome to N-Word Valley." The house band joined in, providing backing to Chappelle's gruff voice, with a smattering of people in the audience singing along, but mostly just hooting and hollering. With a literal mic drop, Chappelle abruptly brought the festival to a close sometime around 10:05, and then he said, "What I'm trying to say is, I'll see you next year, bitches." You may recall last year, Chappelle threatened to never return to Napa after getting ticked off by the region's noise ordinances. Chappelle insisted for 2 nights in a row last year that the headliners continue performing past 10 p.m. and threw an onstage tantrum after the musicians were unplugged on the final night of the festival. At that time, Chappelle said, "I'll never drink a cup of wine from this dusty-ass field." This year, other than the curfew-breaking night, Chappelle was quite upbeat. One night he rapped with, "Don't forget to pick up your trash when you leave so we can be invited back. I want everybody to behave. Everybody be quiet when you leave," for the white people sipping wine out there. Hasan Minhaj is being eyed as the leading candidate to take over The Daily Show once we have late-night shows again. This from Variety. I think he is the right choice. I feel bad for Roy Wood Jr., but Hasan is younger and just feels like, yep, the right person to be in that chair. Variety cautions us Minhaj is not guaranteed to win the position, and a deal is not believed to have been finalized. Recently, Hasan said, "I'm definitely open to the conversation. It's also a family conversation now. It's a very different conversation than when I first got hired at the show when I was 29. My life is in a very different place, and so that's a bigger life-family convo. It changes a lot of things. It's an all-encompassing, all-consuming thing, and other people have to live with the consequences of what I say, and I just want to make sure everybody, if that were ever to come to fruition, hey, are we all on board with this?" A spokesperson for The Daily Show declined to comment. Ralph Barbosa is recording a special tonight. He's actually been taping 2 shows since Wednesday at 6 and 9. This is at the Kessler Theater in Dallas. I said Vallis 4 times and had to edit it out. What is Vallis? Dallas. Kessler Theater is where Ralph Barbosa is recording his special. He said on his Instagram page, Netflix came through. It's right across the street from the old barbershop where I used to work and get my haircuts. It's a pretty big festival going on in Omaha. It is called Omaha Comedy Fest. Let's take a look at today's lineup at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. It's improv for healthcare professionals. 12:30, having fun with ethics. Relax, these are the daytime ones. 2:30, improv and business communication. 4:15, how to get the most out of every moment you play. All right, 7 o'clock, Friday stand-up at the back line. Ethan Abramson, Brent Bradley, Zach Peterson, Kat Lim, Richard Angulo, David Roth. No, not the one from Van Halen. I don't think so. Anyway, maybe it is. Sophia Javed. 7 o'clock Friday improv with The Strangers and the Weisenheimers. I like that. 7 o'clock Friday improv at Site 1. Different improv with Roll the Dice, Lab Mates, Rated P, and the Wallaris. The Dave and Kevin Show, which I almost skipped here reading to you because it's like, oh, that's a podcast. Oh, no, it's Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald. Pay attention, Johnny Mac. All right, 8:30, more improv. Friday improv at the back line with Beeve and Interrogated. 9 o'clock, the Friday Queer Comedy Showcase. Also at 9, Friday stand-up at Site 1 Brewing. Some comedians here whose names I do not recognize. Stand-up showcase at 9:30. 10 o'clock, Friday improv and sketch at the back line. And then after party. All right, if we were at the festival, let's see, what should we do? It's 7 o'clock. Let's go see Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald. You know them from Kids in the Hall. In case you didn't recognize the names, you were like, oh, that sounds familiar. Who are those guys? Let's see. And then for our late show at 9 o'clock, let's go see Friday stand-up at Site 1 Brewing, because I'm assuming they have beer there, and it's David Kuzgard, Reed Campbell, Brittany Mascio, Mel Mackey, Joe Madoff, Emil Kettle, Emma Perkins, Andrew Ledbetter, and Candace August. Meanwhile, kicking off last night, the Laugh Out Loud Loveland Comedy Festival. It's the inaugural one, bringing together over 25 of the finest comedians from across the country to downtown Loveland, Colorado. This will go on all weekend. The events there tonight, 6 o'clock, the Stand-Up Comedy Showcase featuring A.J. Finney. A.J. is described to me as stylistically manic and artistically brilliant. Crowned Best of the Midwest at Gilda's Laugh Fest. Nice. Jeff Stonick is on that show. He's a Denver-based comic by way of Wisconsin, as it's written here. Did I do that right? His comedy reflects that path. Jokes from a Midwesterner grappling with the woo-woo Wild West. J.P. Martin on that show as well. Semi-finalist in the 2021 Minneapolis Funniest Person Contest. Third place winner of the second annual Rivercade Comedy Competition in Sioux City, Iowa. Jeremy Plum is on the show. He's been at this for about 8 years out of Omaha. Jeremy recently appeared at Snow Jam and in the World Series of Comedy. Nice. Miss Keisha on the show as well. There's a lot of people on the show. She began her comedy in Chicago in the early 2000s, had to take a little break there for some personal stuff and is back on tour now. That's great. Carl Pekin has been performing in the Colorado area for 10 years, and the description says he's pretty good at it. Jeff Nelson is a comedian from Denver by way of Kansas City. In 2017, he won the Kansas City Comedy Festival. 8 o'clock is a stand-up comedy showcase featuring Ben Roy, often compared to Louis Black or Bill Hicks due to his passionate ranting approach. If you can't make it to either of those, are you in Vegas? The Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas has Dean Edwards, Aristotle Athari. He was on SNL for one season, I think. Monique Morvez, Jay Devan, and Mark Cohen. That's a good lineup. 2 shows tonight, 7 and 9:30. Michael Yo is on tour. His tour kicks off tonight in La Jolla. He'll be heading to Nashville, Atlanta, Ontario, Canada. Not sure why I had to say the word Canada there. Could edit it out. I won't. Boston, Massachusetts, Parker, Colorado. You might have needed the qualifier there. Parker, Colorado, Irvine, Washington, D.C., Philly, Bridgeport, Tampa, St. Louis, the one in Missouri. Fringe is kicking off. Yahoo spotlighted a couple shows. One is Tom Lawrenson's Hubba Hubba. What is it they write? If you haven't seen Lawrenson's weird and wonderful sketches online, you're missing out. He's at the Underbelly. Michelle Brazer tells Chortle she's going back to the Fringe because I want to play with my friends, and connecting with audiences from the other side of the world is so awesome. She also says there are not enough dogs in the shows and asks, is it legal to bring dogs to shows in Edinburgh? In Australia, I have a guide dog ambassador dog called Eva. She comes everywhere with me. So I always feel the biggest pang of lack of dog over in the UK. If the venue says it's cool, please bring your dog to my show. She's at the Gilded Balloon and points out she didn't check with the Gilded Balloon about the dogs. And that is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Mark Francis and host of a new podcast, The Messi Effect. Join us as we take you into the exciting new world of Argentine soccer phenomenon, Lionel Messi. and his new life at Inter Miami. We'll bring you into the glitz, the glamour, the star-studded events, along with the exciting journey to a new world of U.S. soccer and international football with news and stories 3 times a week. Come along for the ride as Messi, Miami, and Major League Soccer experience the journey of a lifetime. Get the Messi Effect wherever you get your podcasts.